Welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe.
You're listening to Mystic Moon Cafe. The views and opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the network, or our sponsors.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe. We've got a big show tonight. Hopefully a whole bunch of people coming in to watch and participate. And our guest is fantastic and a returning friend and subject matter. And we've been having a little show and tell with Ouija boards and all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, so here we are with Karen Dahlman and all things spirits and spirit boards. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be back with you again. Hello, everybody out there watching the show. We're going to have a great time tonight. Be sure to ask your questions.
Get them on up there. All right. Well, why don't you tell us your background? And I know that you've been working with the Ouija board for a very long time. What made you start? What was the catapulting experience or thought or urge?
Yeah, so you guys, I've been using the board since 1973. I was at the age of 8 when the board was introduced to me by friends down the street. But I must back up and say, as a young child, I came into the world seeing things that people said they couldn't see too, which I didn't think. No, I thought everybody could see like auras or lights around people. And I had what my parents told me was an imaginary playmate, which was not imaginary at all. And it was a spirit being. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when my parents told me, especially my mom, she said, when you go to school, you're going to have to be a big girl and you can't be telling people you're talking to somebody that's not there. She just thought I was making this up. And I thought, boy, I'm not telling her anything. So I just kind of went zip. Mm-hmm. And you guys, I go to school and then I never forgot my little friend and being able to see things or people didn't know were there. But I met these girls down the street and they were sisters and they had a Ouija board. Dun, dun, dun. You guys, I didn't know what a Ouija board was. Okay. That's kind of surprising because now I'm like a huge collector. I think I'm up to 75 boards now. I don't know. I'm not the largest collector of the Talking Board Historical Society, but I do have a lot of boards. So I'm in meet these girls with this board and we just start using it. I think, oh, this is stupid. It's moving around. You guys are pushing it. And they're like, no, we're not. And so I said, well, let me try it. So I get on there and it's moving, it's spelling out things. We're asking stupid questions. And then finally they said, let us show you who we like to talk to. And I was like, okay, all right, wink, wink. The board starts moving, the planchette starts moving, and it starts spelling out these messages. And I said, who is this? They go, it's our dead sister. Now I said, you have a dead sister? I had no clue, you guys. My friend was the one that was my age. Her older sister, who was just a couple of years older, apparently she had a twin at birth and it was stillborn or died shortly after. It wasn't stillborn. It died shortly after. And I was like, I never even knew this. They go, yeah, we don't really talk about it much. It's sad, but we talked to her on the board. And I said, oh my God, your parents know? They go, no, they don't believe us. But we were having these conversations with this little girl. And I said, how is that possible that she died like she was a few months old? They said, because she's growing up on the other side. And I went, that is the greatest thing ever. Ran home, told my parents. I said, oh my God, it's true. The afterlife exists, just like they tell you in church. I said, I could talk to them. They're like, yeah, sure. Wink, wink. I said, well, if you don't believe me, Santa Claus will, and I'm going to get a Ouija board for Christmas. And sure enough, December 25th, 1973, I got my very first Ouija board, and it's been an odyssey ever since.
Oh, awesome. Okay, there's Chris McNicky in the chat, and he wants to know where you got your amazing t-shirt.
Oh, listen, you guys, Talking Board Historical Society.
Oh,
I've got to tell you about it. Okay, so
please.
Thank you, Chris. This is Ouija Zilla, and that's the world's largest Ouija board. We put that together in the fall of 2019 in Salem's Common. My good friend and colleague, Rick Schreck, who's the VP of the Talking Board Historical Society. I'm one of the directors and I'm the secretary. We assembled it, the world's largest, 99 sheets of the giant plywood, you guys, it took. We had a whole structure underneath of it. It took a semi-truck to bring it in, and we had the best time assembling it. This is the shirt from it that was designed. It's Godzilla's hands because it's called Ouija Zilla. And you guys, stay tuned. You never know where that might show up again. Just saying. But look it up, you guys. World's largest Ouija board. Look up Salem, Massachusetts in 2019, and you'll find all about it. Or better yet, go to our website, tbhs.org, and you can look at all the information right there about Ouija Zilla. Thanks for asking, Chris.
Jake has dropped the link in the chat, and so
of course, I'm all about plugs.
Oh, yes.
He's on it. Thank you, Jake.
I started with the store first. We got to keep the lights on. And then...
Well, I just want to do a cheers to everybody out there. I thought we all could do a little toast, right?
Our toast with our...
Woo, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the odd man out, but I'm the one with the wine. So
right. I'm drinking coffee. I'm boring.
Okay. It was pineapple cream rum. So.
Oh.
Yes.
Nice.
Awesome. These guys are fancy. I can't keep up, you guys.
We're fancy or we got problems.
Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we just work our problems out here. But okay, Chris is asking, do you think Ouija Zilla caused the pandemic?
I love that question. Listen, they made a huge meme out of us. Go look for Ouija Zilla, and you'll find us all standing around the planchette pushing it. It becomes like this giant character. Like this, it's crazy. Look at the meme. People want to say that. You know what? That's just everybody's belief system. Look, do you really think it's that powerful we could create a pandemic? I say there's a lot of other things that caused the pandemic. You go look that up yourself. But I would say absolutely not. I'm going to tell you about that day we were there. It brought smiles to everybody's faces. People flocked in from all over, drove in, took the train, bus, whatever, to be there. And we really were there for like a little day and a half at the most, you guys. And we're taking it apart. And people were like, no, I didn't get my picture yet. And, it was just such a magical time. Even though we set up in inclement weather, you guys, it was like a nor'easter coming through. We just got rained on. But the day we opened up, it was like sunny and beautiful. Go look at the pictures. I did a video. It's on my YouTube channel, all about Ouija Zilla, and you can go look it up under there. And then you can watch the fun we had. And just look at everybody, how much fun they had. You guys, we had proposals on there. We had wedding parties on there. We had groups that came out, reunions, and took pictures with the planchette on the board. It was just awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, you got covered by Ripley's Believe It or Not, too.
Oh, yes, that's right. Ripley's Believe It or Not. That's the ones who deemed it the world's largest board. And in fact, that board and us, we are in Ripley's Believe It or Not, the last edition. And Rick and his family are on there. They've got a whole full spread, and you can see some of us in there too. It's pretty cool. I mean, it was an awesome event, and I think it's probably the most fun I've had in a long time doing. And after that, then we had the shutdown, right? And then we couldn't do anything.
Right,
so it was just a blast, you guys.
I have found your YouTube channel. I have dropped from iFunny the memes. They've got all of your memes for folks to check out.
You'll see us standing around there, and you'll see we're all the Talking Board Historical Society people are in there with their friends and others that helped us assemble the thing. We're all standing around the planchette pushing it, and you could go, who's who on there? But yeah, we're all there. It was a great event, great time.
It was a little hard seeing who was who with your hard hats on and safety
that's
glasses.
True. It was cold. There were jackets on. Well, if you look at the planchette, I'm the one on the very far left end up front. And you'll recognize me, and then you can see the other people. They're all the way around it. But
oh yeah, it's easy to find once you really look.
Yeah, you know who you're looking for.
Exactly. Okay, in your biography, we have you have an MA in archetype art therapy, and I was curious how Mandalas represent and help reach the troubled, I want to say, subconscious. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can use mandalas to do that. Absolutely. It's the practice of art making, because it's nonverbal. It takes you into this skills of having to be more in your emotions and feelings. because you're not talking. Art, you don't need to talk. You just need to put colors down.
Mhm.
By the way, this circle back here, that's like a mandala. People want to know what a mandala is.
Mhm.
It's a circle thing. They use it in different cultures to help them center themselves, to help them journey within, to help them. Gosh, they do it in all different cultures. I specifically like more the Native American culture, and they did a lot of sand paintings on this level. You might have the Tibetans who did it's more the circle, the Sri Lankas in different countries. Beautiful stuff, but it's all about meditation. It's all about going within. It's all about the journey you must go on to find nirvana, which is not external. It's all within. But yeah, art making is a great way to be in touch with the subconscious mind. So becoming an art psychotherapist in private practice was just a perfect transition for me, because from me loving the board, you guys, you're talking to a whole nother dimension, which could be an internal, like an ideomotor, higher self, subconscious dimension, or an external dimension. So it's very similar. You get this this communication that's on a whole nother level than just, normal talking. You got to feel it. And you got to allow it to come through you. So to me, it's like nonverbal too. Even though a talking board talks, it's still, you have to be able to channel it. You have to be able to be nonverbal to channel it.
Relax enough to allow yourself to do all of that stuff.
Correct. Absolutely. To be able to do spirit communication on any form, let alone on the board, you really have to be able to check out, in a sense, get more into your right creative brain and out of your methodical, systematic, logical brain, because you're going to go, that's not really, that's not happening. It's not there. It'll talk you out of it. You have to be able to switch sides, in a sense, and allow it to just flow through you in a heartfelt space, not in a mind felt space, but in a heartfelt space. It's a trick. It's kind of a trick, you guys, and it takes a while to learn.
Very true. There were a couple questions. Jake, do you want to verbalize them, or shall we?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do that. There's been a few that have dropped, and I might have missed the name of the person, so I apologize.
Okay.
So we have, for those who may be afraid of the Ouija board, and I say Ouija board, I know other people say Ouija board.
Right.
What advice can you give them?
Well, I do want to say you could say it both ways, Ouija or Ouija, but I will say this: when it was first trademarked and patented, it was trademarked and patented under Ouija.
Okay.
But because enough people are saying Ouija now, that kind of switched over, like 50, 60, somewhere in that range. You could say both. So it's okay. Ouija. So the question was again?
That was, for those who may be afraid of the Ouija board, what advice can you give them?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, if you're going to use this tool, you want to be at least neutral about it or curious. I think if you're come from a space of curiosity, like, does this really work? I'm just going to try it. I'm open to it. You don't have to be afraid of it. Then something's going to happen for you, whether you're working with somebody or you're feeling it moving a little bit or something. It's like it's so, gosh, you guys, it's so subtle. But if you're afraid of it, just purely afraid of it, maybe it's not a tool for you. I mean, it's just a tool, you guys. I got to say this. These boards behind me, there's no magical powers imbued in them. There's nothing mystical making them happen. They are pretty cool. They got some cool artwork. They're very old. This one back here is an 1892, 93 circa. Ooh. This is a 1898 circa. Some of the ones are a little more recent. But you guys, if you have a fear, why go there?
Right.
If you're afraid of crystal balls, why use them? If you're afraid, what it does, it blocks. It just blocks the whole experience. And so I'd say if you can at least, again, get to a place of neutrality or curiosity, you want to explore and discover the unseen dimensions, then you know what? You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to have a good time doing it. And we can talk about some of those ways to have great responses. I got to tell you, I've had such incredible responses, you guys, for the last 49 years of using this tool. It's just amazing.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Now we have a second question, which is there any specific type of meditation or practice that you believe can help those discover their abilities?
Okay, I like this, because now we're talking not just on the board. We're talking about our abilities, because you guys, these boards work because of our own internal proclivities, abilities, skills, aptitudes, psychic empowerment, the clairsenses. So what you can do is anything that you can do to help strengthen you getting inside and getting silent, centered, and clear. So meditation works, you guys, and you don't have to do like Om Pade Mana. Oh, that can help. I've done that. I prefer walking meditation, you guys, and it's not traditional, but I like to walk by myself, go out hiking, or even around the hills in my neighborhood. And I like to be in a spot of, universe, speak to me. Please show me what I need to know, what I need to hear. And you just be open and listen. You might see a bird fly by. Somebody might walk by and say something to you. Here it is, messages from the universe. The more you can get in touch with like what's around you, as opposed to, I gotta do this today, gotta get there, I gotta go pick up the kids, I gotta cook dinner, I gotta go get baked, baked potatoes. We just get so like lockstep. And if we can get more into a creative, experiential feeling place, whatever it allows you to do that, getting out in nature is great, you guys. Nature's fantastic to do that. These are the things that allow you to go, oh, wow, let me feel. Oh, I'm hearing something in my heart. And I did say hearing, because it's like you have to learn to hear with your heart, not just feel. It's like hear, think, smell, feel, sense in your heart. Okay, so you go, oh, well, I haven't thought about that in a long time. It's getting back into that creative, playful self you were as a child. That allows you to develop your senses, because then it's like that's where your magic is. When you go, I wonder if that's possible. Let me see if I can lay here and look at the clouds and make them take shape. Remember when you were a kid used to do that? I know we all did.
Oh, yeah.
Lay the ground,
Still do.
right? And people swear they can move clouds around. I thought I could too. I'm not saying it's right. I can or can't. I'm saying it's that magic thinking. Getting out of the normal way of seeing yourself in your life allows you to slip into these other abilities. You guys, we all have them. They're all there.
Yeah.
And I just want to reiterate, since we're talking about boards and spirit communication tonight, it's not the boards that do it. I do it all, because I allow myself to get out of the way of my rational thought and allow the energies to come to, and I can like touch them and grasp them and hear them and feel them. It's really that poetic, you guys. It really is that magical. And it is very creative.
Yeah. So this sounds like I studied Eastern religions, Taoism and Buddhism specifically, and
Absolutely.
This is very, very Taoist.
It is very Taoist. You're absolutely right. It's like being in the moment of now, feeling, and not so much thinking about it. What do they say? They say chop wood and carry water. Before enlightenment, after enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. It's like the simple things in life. It's not like you're going to give your life up to do this stuff. It's like you're still going to be who you are, but you kind of shift a little bit. You allow yourself to shift and to feel and be in the now and the present. Very good. Eastern philosophy, if you study that, that'll teach you a lot about this concept I'm talking about. And that's why people love meditation, because in the West, we're not used to slowing down. And that Eastern way of working with Qigong or Tai Chi or Taekwondo or meditation is so different to us. Sometimes it works for us. Other times, because we can't make our mind stop, the walking meditation, yoga, dance movement, meditation works wonderfully for our kind of people that are like blah, 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 all over the place.
We got to settle the monkey mind.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah, trick the one side of the mind so that the more creative and accepting can open up and hear and feel.
Accepting is a great word to use. You have to be able to accept and allow for any of this work to happen. When I say any of this work, I'm talking about using the tools to be able to douse, maybe even use like a pendulum. Here's a pendulum here. You can kind of see that. It goes with that board back there. Using the planchette, crystal balls, scrying, black mirror scrying, all those things, you guys, it requires, I say it allows you, but it requires you to get out of your own mind way and thinking it through. It's something you experience. So it's more experiential. This is why I loved art therapy. And I'll tell you why, because when I was trained to become an art therapist, it wasn't about taking artwork and diagnosing it. It was being with the people in the process of creating expression, not a piece of artwork, but creating an expression and being there as a witness, watching this and observing and being part of this, where there was no right or wrong. And then the beautiful stuff would come out of that. Very much when you do this work too, it's like getting out of your way of thinking it through. Oh, it's got to be A, B, C, D. And you go, no, maybe it's going to be Z, maybe it's going to be H, maybe it's going to be L. You know what I mean? It's going to be all over the place, and to allow that to just come together. And that's how you start doing this work. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but this is how it works.
No, doesn't sound weird at all. That would be the beginning steps. Yeah. Well, true. Yeah.
We have some more questions. I don't know, Wendy, if you want to go into our broadcast chat that we had. This is where Karen, myself, and Wendy are. I dropped some questions in there if you want to ask.
Absolutely. And well, I mean, honestly, a good place to start with a lot of the Ouija deal is our friend Sierra, and she put a question in early into the event, and it was basically she has absolutely no experience whatsoever with Ouija boards, but would like to one day safely communicate with her mom's sister who recently passed. Let me see. How do we do it safely? Communicate with who we are trying to reach and close the session completely so no undesirables come through.
Great questions, you guys. Okay, so you're asking about how to do it on the Ouija board. And I'll tell you, if you haven't used a Ouija board before, it's going to be a little harder, a little bit more of a learning curve. It's not impossible, but it's a learning curve to just sit down all of a sudden and have it to work. But having said that, I have seen it where people can sit down. It's happened to me before. And because one of the spirits somewhere else, another dimension, wants to come through that badly, they will really work hard to make it happen. That's more of a one-off, but you can make it happen. So let me say this. What I would do if I wasn't experiencing the Ouija board, I would do this. I would start here. I would start with just getting in touch with the feelings and energies of this person who has transitioned, meaning you might sit there quietly, hold a picture, or think about them in your mind. And just be quiet. Just say, if whatever you want to tell me, I'm here and I'm willing to listen. You may come to me, my sensations, my thoughts, my feeling, maybe a word will pop in, but I'm open to receiving. I allow you to do that, to come into my space. Now, because it's a loved one and somebody you care about, it's like you don't have to get all weird about rituals and stuff, because you're already, by thinking about that person, you already have that love vibration. If you want to go a step further and you're worried about just even doing this work, I would start with a prayer or meditation. Like I do an invocation where I actually will say, hey, I'm protected by the white light, by God's source, by universe, by spirit, and I only speak to that which comes from that same space, which has my best interest at heart. Something of that nature, okay? Then you could start getting in that space, sitting there and thinking about this loved one. And then just listen and just feel. You don't know. This work takes a while to refine it, to tune yourself, to be in tune with their energy, okay? Then the next step I would do is to say to them, you know what? I welcome you to come visit me in a dream. Any way you need to come for me to feel, hear, know you. Be prepared. They may come as a butterfly. They may come as a bird. They may come as a dog, a cat, an animal, may come as a sound or a feeling or a presence. They're going to come in different ways. I had one of my dear friends, one of my good friends who transitioned a couple of years, it'll be 3 years coming up here. And when she transitioned, she came back as a beautiful butterfly, huge in my dream, but I knew it was her. And you guys, in my dream, I said, quick, it's my friend. Look at this butterfly. We're going to take selfies together. Take a picture of us. We're doing selfies. It was me and this butterfly, but I knew it was her. And then she came later on through the board after a while. So they don't always come the way you want them to come. But if you open and invite them into your space and, do it in a very sacred way, very respectful way, it's like that allows the energy to shift, to rise to another vibration. When you are positive about the experience to just have this communication, let's just talk spirit communication. We'll get to the board in a second. When you get in a space of like, oh, I really intend for this to happen. I'm open. I want to sense your love again. I send love to you so I can connect with you. Right then and there, I just raised my vibration. It just elevated to a great space, which in itself, it already puts this circle of love and vibration around myself. It comes out of my heart and it allows them a gateway or a pathway to communicate with you, to talk to you. It's that makes it so much simpler for them. It's not easy. It's not easy, they tell me, to come through on the other side. In fact, it's hard for them because everything is telepathic and very quick on their side, that to come back and do this slow motion, it's like that's what they tell me. I mean, sometimes they tell me it's like stuttering. They have to repeat the same thing just to get it through the board sometimes. Okay. So it can take a while, but be patient with you guys. And one more thing I'll say about the spirit communication without a board. Another thing you can do, this seems to work really well. People I've helped do this with, and I've used all these techniques I talk about tonight. I do them myself and I write about them in my books too. And I've used them, or people have used them with me or on their own. Another thing you could do is write a letter to your loved one. Just write it on a piece of paper, like in a journal or on your computer, and then say, if you would answer me, what would you say? You say, hey, I miss you so much. How are you? How are you doing? How are you feeling? And just go, all right, I'm gonna let you answer. I'm gonna pretend like I'm you. I'm gonna allow it to answer. And just start typing or writing what you get. And before you know it, you're going to be right in that sensation with this person. Try it. It's going to be emotional. Trust me on this. And when you get emotional, again, that becomes a pathway for them to come into your heart. So these are ways you could do it to start without the board. The board does take a lot of patience, practice, and perseverance. 3 words: patience, practice, perseverance. You really got to take your time to get to know the board, the subtle movement of the energy, what that feels like with you and a partner or with yourself. And then to be able to start relying on the messages, that takes a long time too. So I would start with the steps I said. And then when you feel like you're making that emotional connection, you're going to feel it. You're going to know what I'm talking about. Then sit down with the board with somebody you trust. It's always easier with 2 people. And then start asking questions. And you may be surprised. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, because I've seen it happen. It's happened with me and people I know, where all of a sudden that spirit comes through and just starts flying around that board, has something to tell you, because it's their opportunity. Okay. So try those things out and see what happens for you. Remember, you are the conduit. These tools are just theatrics. There's the showmanship of what we do. You are the tool. You become that walk-in Ouija board yourself, is what I call myself, a walk-in Ouija board. You are the tool to allow this to happen. So I hope that helps. These are great questions you asked.
Very much so. Okay.
You guys, and I gotta tell you, I can go on and on about this stuff, because I'm telling you, there's just
okay.
You guys, I love this stuff. It's been profound in my life. It's been life-changing. I write books about this. I've dedicated such a part of my professional life to this. And I just so much enjoy helping people have similar experiences as I have had, because it just transforms you in incredible, amazing ways, you guys. That's all I got to say. I'm forever touched by it. I'm quite humbled.
Oh, sweet. Okay, let me see. There's one. Do you think your early religious upbringing aided your feelings of safety during your journey in this work?
Well, okay. So my religious upbringing was Catholic. So this is the deal. Yes, somewhat, a little bit. I'll say yes. And I'll tell you why. The Catholics believe in guardian angels. A lot of some groups of Catholics really believe in like speaking in tongues. I wasn't that extreme, but they tend to believe in guardian angels. They do believe in saints and spirits and things of that nature. And they believe in an afterlife, right? That helped me, I think, somewhat, because I already believed in angels. And I would say a prayer at night to Jesus and God and all this stuff. Then I always put my guardian angel in there. I didn't know who my guardian angel was. And I do have one. And you guys everybody has one. You have more than usually one. But, I just had this belief that, of course, there's guardian angels. Of course, there's God and Jesus. Of course, there's Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. And, it was all magical, mystical, but it was a belief system. So yes, the belief system helped. It also helped. I was doing this in the 70s when the Ouija board, they've always been around, but there's no social media. There weren't books written about it. Maybe The Exorcist and one other bad book that was negative about it. There really weren't. And there was a few books out there that were positive, but I never found them in my library at elementary school. They didn't have these books. And so I was doing it in a vacuum. Because I was doing it in a vacuum, I had no fears. And plus, Santa Claus gave it to me. I was never told it was bad. I mean, I got it on Christmas Day. I go, hey, I'm going to use my Ouija board. They said, well, we're going to go to church first. I said, okay, cool. We'll go to church, go to mass, CCD. I come home, Ouija board. Right. I prayed to Jesus, God. It was not sacrilegious, you guys. I don't mean this to be funny, though it is kind of funny. It was just the fact that it was just so natural.
Right.
I mean, I had my crucifix, I had my rosary, I prayed, all these things I did, confessions and all the stuff I did with the Catholic Church. And to this day, I still really respect it in terms of the upbringing and what it can do for people. Any kind of religion really can. But yet it just gave me that extra, like, I can believe in this. I mean, if Moses can speak to a burning bush and he can hear God, I sure as hell can use a board and hear God too. I mean, that's really where it's taken me to. Why can't we all have the same connections to the divine or to your spirit guides or to the deceased loved ones? People are doing it all over. Prophets were doing it. I'm not saying we have to be prophets to do it. I'm saying the veil is so much thinner now. And why do we have to reinvent the wheel? We all are sacred. We all are special. We all are connected to the divine. And so we all have these abilities. And so my parents didn't discourage me. They didn't necessarily believe me, but they didn't say it was wrong when I was doing. They just said, I'm glad you're having fun. Little they know what I was
right. You set me on a path, Mom.
I tell them this. My mom, she's, my parents are in their 80s. And they come to listen to my shows. They'll see me on TV, what the things I do. And they're like, who knew? I go, she goes, I thought you were just making this up when you were young. She goes, I said, you think I'm just BSing like this, and I'm doing radio shows and stuff? You think I'm making this up? She goes, no, I know. She goes, I know, because I know the stories you tell me. And she's had readings with me before too, but it's just so funny when you're young and your parents don't really know what's going on and you're just doing this stuff in a vacuum. And here we are today. Hey.
Very cool.
It's fun.
Jake, what do you got for us, bub?
Okay, well, I've dropped more questions in. So here's a good one because I'm enjoying some wine this evening.
Aww.
I just need to wet my whistle. Okay, here we go. People can use alcohol or drugs to lower their inhibitions and put themselves into a different state of mind. What's your advice regarding substances and Ouija?
Well, okay. So, I like to imbibe in some wine. I like my spirits. I just don't mix my spirits. Spirits and spirits don't always go together. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why that is. Because ours is so, you just kind of drop everything. And by the way, also alcohol is a depressant. And the last thing I want to do is take my energy down and to be so uninhibited that I'm not even aware of trying to keep it sacred or serious. So whenever I do this work, it's like when I was a therapist practicing therapy, I wouldn't come to see my client high or imbibing because it's like, that's not sacred to them. That's not fair to them. I'm not showing up my full self. So when I do this work, you guys, I have to show up my full self. I don't have to, I want to, because I know that because of that, it's my energy my abilities that's going to help bring this through, maybe my partner's abilities too. And just whoever I'm working the board with, it's like, they rely on me. And I don't want to lay anybody down. And the spirit guides, it's so much easier for them to come through when I am focused and not, partaking, talking about it. You're not going to be drinking a glass of wine with you guys right now. No big deal. But I'm not going to sit down on the board. It's like drinking and driving, I'm not
right.
And texting and driving, right? I just don't feel like I'm showing up the best I can. Because I got to tell you, you guys, I take this work so seriously. It's so sacred to me. And I that's the way I show my respect. So for me, no, I won't. I want to keep my energy and frequency high. High in a different way, not like high.
Right. We understand.
Positive vibes, people.
Yes.
Positive
My
vibes.
inner spirit high. without an external substance.
Cool.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, here we go. Well, we have another question. Oh, geez, they keep flooding in. Things jump around on the screen here. One sec.
I appreciate you guys. There's a lot to talk about with this tool. So this is wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. What's the spookiest thing you've ever experienced while using the Ouija board? And has anything frightening ever happened?
Okay, so I've used the Ouija board, first of all, in many different places, including the graveyard. I've used it everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, just anywhere I could think of using it, I've used the board. And it was because at a younger age, I wanted to be spooked. I really wanted some kind of adrenaline rush. I really was hoping to get some kind of weird spirit. And I can't say it happened, but I will tell you this. There's been some times when I've used the board, and I'll get real specific in a moment. Sometimes when I've used the board and spoke to energies or beings or remnants of, like we could call ghost or some kind of entrapment kind of energy, where it has been maybe more negative or just heavy feelings. And I can feel the switch in energy. Because when I'm doing this work, I'm very sensitive. I can feel the energy. I can feel every spirit coming through the board or through the work of the board. I can tell who's who and the way they move the planchette. But I'll tell you, there was an experience. There's many, but I'll tell you, I'll share one with you. I mean, I had a lot that were kind of frightening because ghost apparitions appeared. I mean, that's some weird shit. If I could just say shit.
That's okay.
That's some
We're
weird
only on
stuff,
Facebook.
you guys.
It's cool.
Oh, beep.
Just the Facebook.
Okay. I don't do that on radio, but you guys, some weird stuff can happen. And I've been with people who've seen apparitions. I've seen apparitions with this tool. But I remember one time we were at a place on Cielo Drive. And if you guys know about Cielo Drive in Beverly Hills, in this late 60s, the Charles Manson murders and all that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, right in that area. It was a house that like 3 doors down, and some of the spirits are still trapped there. I was trapped. They chose to stay there, but they feel like they're trapped. They're not leaving until there's a message they want to have out. But I went to that building. I went to that house. I walked around. I said, "Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me what's going on here." And I went with my partner at the time, and we walked around. And the dog would only go so far. It was like 4 levels of a house. They're built on the hills, you guys. It's like 4 levels of a house. So we're like going downstairs. The dog stops. He goes on 2 floors. Like, okay. And the dog was like, wanted to follow us around. I'm like, you want to come? Nope. So we go, my friend and I, partner, go down 2 more floors, and we start walking around down there. We're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good. We could just feel it. She was very sensitive. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to puke. I'm getting this really nauseous feeling. And she was in this room, and I walked in, I went, oh my God, me too. We could feel like it was the center of a vortex, you guys. It was like this energy spiraling and all kinds of just cluster coming through. It was just, we could feel it. It felt gross. So then she goes, where do you want to do the board? I go, guess where? Right here, where this energy is. Because, and she goes, oh my God, I go sit down. We're going to do it. She goes, oh my God, I go sit down. We got to do this, please. So we sit down there, just she and I. We had a little recorder. We're sitting there, and as soon as we turn the recorder on, we start asking who's here to talk to us. This belabored breathing, literally externally in our ear, we could hear it going. I mean, it was like louder. I was like, okay. She goes, oh my God, I got to go. No, we're going to continue. Don't worry. Nothing's going to get you. We did our prayer and all protection. I knew they couldn't do anything. It was just them telling us they were here, and they had a conversation they wanted to do. You can get through that part without freaking yourself out too much. There typically is a message. So we spoke to 3 of the people who were murdered. So it was J.C. Bring and Stephen Parents and the gal, what's her name? I can't remember her name right now. Sorry, you guys.
Oh, the pretty lady.
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate, thank you. It's in this book. I'm not going to give the whole story away, but it's in this book, you guys.
Right. That's an excellent book. Go get the book.
Thank you. Yeah, so Sharon Tate, she came through, and they told us why they were still there. They told us the other 2 people had left. Stephen Parents, most people don't even know who this guy is. My friend who came with me, she didn't remember the story. She knew the story. She's like, oh, the Manson, killed some people. She didn't know the name. She didn't know how many. She goes, there's this guy here, young. She started explaining, was that what this guy looked like? And I go, I believe that's who we're talking to. And she saw his apparition. I didn't see it, but she saw his apparition. And he said, I am here because I'm not a movie star, but my life matters too. And I'm not leaving until somebody says that my life matters. And the reason why Sharon Tate and J.C. Bring are still there, I'm not going to give the full answer. They have a story to tell, and their story has not been heard yet. And the story has been hidden from everybody because they like to have ghosts in this space, and they don't want it to leave. And the truth is a story, and you know what it is because you read this book, Wendy. They're not leaving until that story's told. And they told me exactly. And I went upstairs and told what the story was, and he goes, I know, but I'm not going to say anything. So anyway, you got to read that. But that was kind of creepy because not only did we hear something physically, my partner was seeing things and explain what this guy looked like. We were feeling the energy. We were doing the communication. And then the story doesn't stop there. We were able to communicate with them again because spirit's non-local, you guys, back at my house, which was in Orange County. And that was up in LA, the hills. And so we came back and we still were able to talk to them a little bit because this guy wanted his story to be told. And he felt like my friend had really resonated with him. So he had more stuff to tell her. So it's just things like that, you guys. It gets a little spooky, a little weird at times. I'm not afraid of that because I asked for that. But when I was younger, it was like, oh, what did I do? Who am I talking? It was like that. But that was more because I wasn't mature enough to understand. Now it's more like I look forward to having these connections and communications. And I find that it helps. It helps sometimes the people that are here that are grieving, or the people that are there, they have a message or something, a reason why, or something they want to say. And I just feel like I'm a therapist. I'm doing group therapy basically between the living and the dead, right? That's basically what it is. And to me, that's just, it's part of life. And so I'm honored. But yeah, it can get kind of weird at times, you guys. It really can.
Oh, absolutely. Was that David's house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've had him on before too. So yeah.
Okay. Does he talk about it? Does he talk about what's there and all that?
Oh yeah. He talked about a lot of it. And
let me tell you what, did he tell you this? There's a vortex there. That's not all that's there. There's a lot of energies there. It's not just those 3. There's a Native American. I could feel him. There's some other energy. There's a lot of energies there. And we found the vortex exactly where it is. He's like, yep. He's like, he confirmed everything before we even know it.
Neat. Very neat.
Yeah, it's some interesting stuff there for sure. There's energy in that house, you guys.
Well, sometimes it's hard to know how much you can trust a character that comes on. So,
oh, that's a good way of putting it. Okay, good.
Right.
Yeah.
Just, how much is in his head and how much is in his head,
I get it.
All righty. We've got a whole bunch of questions going on there. Do you need to purchase a Ouija board or to try one, or can you make your own?
I love that because you guys, you can make your own. In fact, I usually I know Wendy's, we've talked about this before, Wendy. I like to just take a paper sack, open it up. I didn't bring it with me. It's in my office where I keep all my boards, you guys. I have like all my boards everywhere. And you just write the letters and numbers on it. And you can just use like whatever you want to use, double old fashioned, a old CD, and use that as your indicator. You don't need to buy one. You can make them on contact paper, on maybe cardboard, or you just want the surface to be smooth. So, that's why I like the paper sack. If I use something like a glass on top of it, works well. I've used my phone as a planchette. I just use the phone, fingers on it, and it moves around on something. So you don't need to buy one. Now, I like to buy them. I know Jake and I were sharing our boards. He's got some cool things that he likes to collect. I really like the old Ouijas because that's a real, trademark name. But I also like boards like this, which would be more of like a talking board or a pendulum board. You can use anything. In fact, this is a pendulum board, you guys. It is made to be used with this. Okay. But I use it with the planchette because it has the letters and numbers, and I like that it's round. So you can use any of those things. Here's a fun one. You guys, back in the day, this is like early 1900s, late 1800s, for kids to learn the alphabet, they would tend to have these boards called alphabet boards. They were boards just look like a Ouija board with numbers on it, letters on it, and people go, "That's a Ouija board." No, we're doing Ouija boards. This is like the way the kids learn. I mean, you could use something like that. Anything that has letters and numbers on it. Now, having said that, I find that if you find a board that you just love, somebody makes it for you, like Jake has these beautiful talking spirit boards, or you find one like you collect, you go, oh, I love this 1898 board, this 1892 board, because I love it so much, the history. It's like that raises your vibration. Again, I'm talking about that vibration thing, you guys. When you resonate with something, a tool, it's going to help you work better. You work better because you resonate with the tool. So that's the key here. If you want to do this work, get one that you really like. Jake, did you want to show any of yours? I mean, you have some cool ones.
I mean, you're the guest, so we should start with your favorite boards first, because I know I'm dying to learn more about the pendulum board. And I see you got the crystal ball for scrying, and then it looks like a paddle. So is that just the planchette for that?
Okay, so that one back there, that is what the original planchette looked like, you guys. That is one from 1892 circa. The Ouija board was actually first made in 1890, wasn't named until 1891, and that's when it was patented trademark under the name Ouija. But that is what the original looked like. It was a paddle shape. It had tall, long legs, about this long, and it looked like you go ping pong. We call it paddle shape.
Yeah.
So then what it turned into is more of this kind of shape, which is more of the heart shape. And the legs got more reasonably in size and height. And then it came into more of the modern day. Most of you guys know the little circle in it, but there's many renditions. Now, you got to remember now, Ouija it even says a trademark. Ouija is a trademark, you guys. So we tend to want to call old boards Ouija boards, and that's not accurate. All boards are talking boards or spirit boards, but not all boards are Ouija boards. Ouija's a name. Okay. Yeah. So what Jake has is actually spirit and talking boards. He doesn't have one that's really Ouija, although somebody wrote Ouija on it. They really can't technically do that because they don't have the rights to do that. So Ouija's still made. Hasbro owns it now. It's shifted hands in many different companies. My first Ouija board, I don't have it here sitting with me. I usually always have it, but it's in a special place right now in my office. That Ouija board is circa 1972-ish. And it was Parker Brothers at that time. Parker Brothers bought it from William Fuld in 1966. And then 1 year after being in production, in 1967, it outsold their highest game that ever, selling game, which was Monopoly. So the Ouija board even took over Monopoly's position when it first was sold. It was so popular, you guys, back in the 60s and 70s for that reason. It's been popular since it first came out, and nobody could really compete with Ouija board with the name Ouija. There was a lot of knockoffs in the day, late 1800s, early 1900s. And so you'll see a lot of those now that people call spirit boards or talking boards. There's so many cool ones. I mostly collect Ouijas, but I do have a lot of spirit and talking boards too. And again, like this one back here called the Pingy board. This Pingy board is actually, again, it looks like this. Here it is. This is the box. This is the Pingy guy, I guess. It is really, it's to be used as a pendulum board. But because it has numbers and letters, you can use them as two things. I have other boards that are round that I can use with pendulum. They're small, but I tend to, use a planchette on there. So, you could do many different things with these different boards.
So let me, so this is just a question from my part. Ooh, we got more questions just loading into the chat. So really quick.
We're never going to go to sleep, you guys.
That's okay.
And we have to do show and tell. We do have to do show and tell. But my question for you, and this is from me, can you combine communication methods like tarot, oracle with your board? I know we just talked about pendulum. But can you put the oracle cards on the board if you want? Can you do oracle dice, which I just got a crazy set. They're amazing. Oracle dice. So is there any no-nos to it, or is it all pretty much yes?
You're the first person ever to ask that question for many years. First person ever to ask that question. And I love it because I love scrying with many. Scrying is basically being able to use these tools to see into things. When you use the board, you're channeling, but there's also comes a time when you might get off the board and go, well, I'm still getting information. And this is what I'm seeing. That's like a form of scrying or channeling. So yes, I combine tools all the time. So I love, you guys, oracle cards. I love tarot cards. I will do readings where I might start with some cards. And then all of a sudden I just jump off and start channeling. Or I say, okay, your guys have a message. I'm hearing this. I'm getting download information. Let me just tell you what I'm getting and speak it. I've used the crystal. I was going to call it crystal skull. I do have a crystal skull too. It's small, but the crystal ball, you guys, it's all do you know what it is? It's a jumping off point. So that's what scrying really is. So here you go. Black mirror scrying. When your phone is actually black, like the front of it, like that, you can actually scry that you can scry on a surface like this. So it's you allowing your subconscious mind to project and then to use it as a jump. I call it a springboard. Okay. It's springboard off it. So if I use my crystal ball, which I do, you just use it. And I don't really look for images. I can see my hands in there. I can see reflections. I can see my light. I can see all kinds of things in here. But when I look at it, I go, all right, so I'm getting the name Martha. That's what I'm getting, you guys. And I just start going with it. It's not even what I see. It's just that now this gives me a way to look and to see this way. Okay. That makes sense. And then I go, okay, so I'm also getting the name Jack, Martha and Jack. That's who's coming through now. So there's somebody here, somebody with Martha, Jack. I'm getting that connection. And so I just start going. That's how you do readings. And then you go off and you go, when you start getting into it, for me, I'll go, okay, here's the message. This is what I'm getting. Here's the download. They want me to tell you this. And then I might say, give me a second. I might pull some cards out and say, okay, now it's just, these are all jumping off places to begin the reading. Or to begin receiving the information. Ouija board, which I'll tell you why I love the board the most and why I probably spent the most time on it, because it does have that ability to feel, first of all, the energies coming through, which you don't always feel when you're doing cards or this, or you might feel with this a little bit, with the pendulum, but you feel the planchette move. Okay. That's like a really weird feeling, just to be honest, when it starts moving. And then you go, oh, now it's spelling. And I learned a way to really let go where I'm just writing and going back and forth and it's moving with one finger on it like this. And it's like amazing to get this spelling out where you feel it, you're with it. You get this whole experiential situation again. You get experience everything. And then you go, oh, this is what it says. And you read it and it's like beautiful. I'm like, I don't even know some of these words. I got to look up these words sometimes. Right. Seriously, it's that crazy. And then they give us some science stuff. And I go, is that true? I look at my partner, he goes, I don't know. Let's Google it. Let's look at it. We're like, oh my God, that's exactly how things work. It's just amazing. Okay. So that's why I like this tool, because you actually get to feel it. I'm not doing this jumping off thing. like springboarding, although I can if I give people readings,
Mhm.
but I'm actually letting it do everything, meaning myself to channel, allow that to be what I do. And it's very tangential. That's why I love the Ouija board. It's like there's no questions. It's not like I'm guessing. It's very precise and exact. When I work with somebody that I've been working with for a while, because when you work with somebody new, it's always a matter of learning to build up your energy together so you both can reach the same vibration. But when I'm working with somebody that I'm used to working with, oh my God, there's nothing better than that. I get the greatest high. It's just crazy. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Okay,
I've got a stack of tarots and runes and oracle cards right in my desk.
So we didn't even get into that, you guys. Before we got on the show, I wanted to see all his boards and we did that. And I didn't even know you had the oracle. So you're like me. And I think I have like, I don't know, 20 decks. I just love them too.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. I say this is horrible. I like oracle cards more than tarot cards.
And listen, I do too, but
Excuse me a moment.
I've taught myself tarot because I think I say tarot because like tarot, tomato, aunt. I say tarot, and I love tarot because of the mythological symbolism. But I love oracles too. My gosh.
Let me just grab a pack real quick so we
see.
Can,
look, everybody's leaving you guys.
It's right here. It's right here. Except I gotta reach, so I'm going off camera.
Hey, okay, take over the show now. All right. What's next? We're talking about Historical Society. Can we expect a bigger Ouija Zilla one day? Okay, let me answer that question, you guys.
Okay.
So the Talking Board Historical Society will once again be at Michigan Paracon. Last year, you guys, we brought the world's largest planchette. Huge, a lot of great photo opportunities. It was better than ever. I mean, we rebuilt it and it was awesome. So this year we're gonna be doing something different. Oh, we had a great museum. We're gonna have a different museum this year. Every year we bring a different collection of boards. I'm going to also be talking at that event. So I'll be talking probably, I think most likely about the higher self and spirit guides. I've been doing a lot of work with that and help people begin to tap into their own. And also Ouijazilla, you guys, it's not over. We always go bigger, badder, better, or just go home. And if you know my colleague Rick Amortis Schreck, go to tvhs.org. You look him up. This guy is badass. Okay, he is the best artist. He is so ingenious. Is that the word? Ingenious. He's creative. He's clever, and he will not stop with something small. Okay, so we're in for something new. Just watch it. We'll be back around. So thank you for asking that. TBHS, I love you guys. We are a nonprofit organization. If you want to buy our shirts, we're at Vince. We do sell boards sometimes. That helps us fund when we're doing these things like Ouijazilla or putting in gravestones or putting in plaques where Ouija was first manufactured. We do that all the time, all kinds of really fun stuff. So thank you for asking that question, you guys.
Okay. So, all right. So I'll show you my favorite set of oracle cards. Since
now, I don't have mine here, but I have something else to show you. That's cute.
But I mean, okay. So I got these off Amazon. I was just noodling around. Like, let me see something cool. So I found the Season of the Witch Samhain oracle.
Oh, put up to the camera better. Seasons of the Witch. Oh,
let me change my background here. I'll just turn it off. Guys, I'm getting blinds. That's the kind of cluster you see in the background. So give me a minute with that. When I turn this off.
Are we going to see your cool typewriter?
You're going to see my, yeah.
It's
right
hidden.
There. Oh, no, it's because I've got my boards right here. It's blocking it right now.
Old-fashioned typewriter, the kind I learned on.
Ooh,
so
me too.
From the you probably 270s,
60s
and 70s.
So it's the Season of the Witch Samhain.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't that cool?
Yes,
it looks like a Salem witch type.
Yeah. So we've got this on the background.
Oh,
and here are some of the cards. Like this is apples.
Ooh,
I like the artwork. Who's the artist?
I'll have to look that up. Banshee.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Bat.
I have a witch oracle deck too.
So
neat.
Cool.
Yeah, they have a Yule one too. It's just I like Halloween more. So I like these a lot. Here's another. Speaking of Halloween,
God, I feel
right?
left out. Everybody's got their oracle cards.
Ghosts and spirits.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
tarot.
That's tarot.
So here
nice
is the Halloween oracle.
Ooh.
Oh wow! So you guys out there too, and people are watching, and you guys, I know you're watching. You probably have your tarot and oracle decks too.
Even if it's just in the Amazon cart. Yes.
Yep.
You guys, I think I got my first deck. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I got my
Ooh.
first tarot deck in 1989. And it was called the Native American Tarot deck. I'm very into Native American spirituality. That's where I got started. Then I went into the Mythic Tarot, a few other different decks of tarot, and now I'm finally using the Rider-Waite. I'm finally using the traditional one, and I've learned how to use it. I love it, but I still love my oracle cards.
I'm not as familiar with them. My first deck was a what was it? The Celtic Dragon, which were just gorgeous, but they've gone by the by somewhere. They'll show up again.
I would expect less from you because you love your dragons. I know that about you. Look behind you.
Yep, exactly. Yes.
Now I got to ask you a question. This is, you guys, and I'm going to be the interviewer. Okay.
Okay.
So,
sure.
Okay. So Wendy, I got to ask you a question. So, do you believe in dragons?
In the spiritual sense, yes. Kind of an elemental. I'm not sure, earth and fire, or excuse me, air and fire, or just I don't know for sure, but I do. I think yes, I do.
How about
they might not. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to ask Jake.
I was going to say they might not embody physical bodies anymore, but I think it's out there a lot, like say Santa Claus or Easter Bunny or whoever.
Okay.
What do you think, Jake? Do you believe in like the dragons were actually like, a legitimate creature?
Do I think they were a legitimate
like physical, like we could see them and interact with them maybe?
I would say no. But there could have been real life creatures that were confused as what we hear about as dragons. Okay. Now, I think in the Asian culture, it's since like, let's take animism and Shintoism from Japan and everything. And Taoism, right? I totally get that part of it, that it would be a spirit animal itself rather than a physical creature.
Okay.
By the way, here's my tarots.
Ooh.
Which deck is that? What's that
I
one
forgot
called?
the name of it, but it was another Kickstarter.
You guys, what I love about it, there's so many different ways they can make this tarot.
Of course, I pull it up to the ghost.
Of course.
But these are really nice. Got gold.
Oh, that gold is gorgeous.
Yeah.
My Mythic Tarot have the gold around it with the black. I love that.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to say that I absolutely believe in dragons.
Okay.
Their name is called dragoons, and because that's the Oriental name from Asia.
That's what another person said in chat.
Yeah, their name is okay. Hi, whoever that is. Yay! And so we spoke to them. One of the things that we like to do on the board is communicate with mythological creatures, which we think are mythological, or animals, alive and deceased, a transition I like to call them. So we've been able to tap into the consciousness of dragoons. And what happened was when they're in Europe, they changed the name to kind of dragon. That's just what their language was, but it's dragoon. And the weirdest thing, you guys, was this. I didn't know about this word dragoon until I did this whole session on this, you guys. Go to my YouTube channel where we actually channel a dragoon and gives us all this information. Go check it out. So this is weird. So I was going to go to Malaysia. This is several years back. This is like, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I can't remember now. And I'm on the plane flying over there, and I pull out this Asian book. I was an Asian airline or something, and it was all about what was going on in those countries. I was going to Malaysia. Okay, Singapore, Malaysia. I open it up, it starts talking about the dragon, and it doesn't call it dragon, it calls it dragoon everywhere. Dragoon. I went, oh my God, that's what they told us their name is. It's really called a dragoon. So I absolutely believe in this creature, and that it was able to slip through like a interdimensional being was able to slip through. And because we were going to kill it and scare it away, we were afraid of it or whatever. There was a time when we lived peacefully with these different beings that it had to leave our dimension because or else we would, kill it. It'd be gone. We're pretty drastic.
They saw what we did to mammoths.
Yeah. I mean, look, you guys, the dinosaurs are real. I mean, that's amazing to think about these creatures, right? And we didn't live with them. We were maybe saber-toothed, but not the big old Rex. So it's crazy to think about this. There's the possibilities out there are crazy. They find these large skulls and bones, you guys. We spoke to giants, these giants through the board. You guys, my board is my cosmic phone. You can communicate with any levels of consciousness. And this is what I'm working on now. And the work I do and the stuff I'm writing about is about consciousness, communicate with consciousness of sentient beings. They're not necessarily always in this dimension. So I absolutely believe in the giants. They had to leave too, because we were killing them and they were going to be the scapegoats. Yeah. So we're just, humanity can be terrible at times.
It should be dog manatee.
Yeah, it should be dog manatee. Cat manatee. We're dog people. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
But dogs and cats are even more nice. I mean, we're just, I don't know what we would call ourselves. We're just like terrible sometimes. I'm just disgusted sometimes with us. And I mean, we're all in it together. It's just horrible. But
right.
You know what's neat is we can talk about these things and we can start shifting our abilities and beliefs and start opening up and realizing, there is so much more out there, and we're just a piece, a speck of it. And we're not like, we don't have to be egocentric about who we are, but that there's so many other brethren of spirits and beings and interdimensions and extraterrestrial, ultradimensionals and non-human intelligence out there. I mean, this is crazy stuff. So when you start using the Ouija board, you guys, you can use it as your cosmic phone, and you can dial up all these different dimensions. It's crazy.
Okay. So on that subject, since we're talking about people getting their boards, there was a question. I don't know if it was asked. I want to make sure because it got resurfaced. Do you need to cleanse a new board before you use it?
This is what I say. If you have a ritual in place that allows you to feel empowered and allow you to make the tool your own, and there's something very beautiful about that. I find that this board is one of my newer boards I just got. I didn't do anything like that. I just kind of welcomed it in. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to have this board, the year it was, the history to it. So I'm not so concerned about that. But when I got it, not this board, it was a 1901 board, I felt the need to do that. So trust your intuition, you guys. You get a used board and you go, like psychometry, you can feel, you can hold something and go, I can feel, and you can do readings and stuff. I mean, that's legit. That's legit. So trust yourself. And if you have a ritual and you go, I really like to put it under the full moon, cleanse it that way, or I like to say a prayer or sage it, smudge. I've done all those things, and I will do them when I feel called to. So trust your intuition on that. Make your tool your own, because it's going to work better with you, because it's going to make you feel more relaxed with it.
That's interesting, because of all the little what's-its and things that I've had around here. The only time I felt like I needed to break in one of these is tarot cards. That's the one I always feel like I have to break in.
What do you mean by that? Like, what do you do?
Oh, geez. So I'm a complete nerd, and I've read up, but it's just, it's just as you open up the deck. I'm sure this will be different for everyone else, but when they feel empty. And so when I hold them, it's like, it's just, you have a whiteboard in front of you. It's not occupied yet.
Okay.
And so I go through the cards, one by one. There's this kind of thing where you now, I know you're not supposed to shuffle them like cards, but I'm a dude, so sometimes they get shuffled. Dude,
I shuffle them that way too, and I'm not.
All right. I'm okay.
I'm like,
I don't, but it's because my hands won't. Yeah. My hands just won't do it. So,
but I like to go through. I like to go through them, put the major arcana aside, and then the suits aside. Feel each one. Do a little intent thing, because I know, like, throughout my life, I've had some problems with the swords. So I like to get a feeling for that. And I'm just like, hey, I'm just like, I go through and just think to myself as I pass through each one of them. It's like, imbue with the message. What does this really stand for? Because even though you've got the book, like the Rider Waite deck has a pretty extensive book with it, which I read. I'm like, can I please have the Reader's Digest version of this?
No, you have to read all of those little books.
And so I go through each one, get a feel for it, say implant the message kind of thing. I do it a few times before I actually use them, and then when I'm done with them, I clean them, which is kind of weird, as you do a shuffling, and then at the end I've got them all stacked up and I hit them on top and say bye bad juju, bam. See, I love that, because it's your ritual and it works for you, and it makes you feel like, doesn't it? And it's legitimacy to this, because it makes you feel connected, and also to be able to disengage in the session. So I have something I do, a little ritual. I do my cards. I have the stone I like to bring out, and then I always say a prayer, and I always ask for the help, and I invite ancestors in, or those who love the person I'm doing a reading for. Put that down on my lap, and I have my cards, and I do go through them until I feel it's right. I do some tapping things, because it's organic. And so the thing is, get organic with it, and what is already working
use it with any of these tools we're talking about. It's going to make you feel comfort level with it and magical with them. And that it does require a feeling of magic. And I love these dogs in the background.
The puppies. I have 3 5-month-old puppies.
Let's play with the dogs. Oh,
Ollie, hey, just wait. Let me. You talk amongst yourselves. I'll just pick one up and show. I'll show all of them. Just talk amongst.
We do this quite often.
We do this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, the kids do break into the room because Ollie knows how to open doors.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
adorable.
yeah. Augie did that earlier.
I'll just go on mute and then go grab a dog real quick, and then we'll get back.
Everybody go get a pet, and everybody come back and show your pet. Bear, get in here. So you guys, when I do my shows a lot, Bear, you guys, people that know me, my shows, I have cats. Well, I have 2 cats that are gone. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Hi.
yes.
Oh, you pretty baby. So my cats will run through sometimes and just put their butt in the, and show you. And
that was Derby. Oh, there they go. Okay.
Derby's adorable. So there's 3 of them. Oh my God, they're so cute.
Well, and then I've got the 2 big pit bulls who are Mikey's 100-pounder and Daisy's an 85-pounder.
Wow, we got all kinds of guests here.
So I moved. Sorry, we're sidebarring because we're talking about dogs. So that
Right.
One dog's still in there. Look,
that's Daisy. She's my 85-pound pit bull.
That dog can't get out. Oh,
she a big girl. She probably shouldn't weigh 85 pounds, but she never said no to a treat.
I love people who love animals. I mean,
oh yeah, I'd have 20 if I could.
Animals are so wonderful.
I moved out of King County, Seattle area, out to the country, got 2.5 acres because my other half and I decided we're going to save dogs if we can save dogs and we can actually afford to save the dogs. So currently I got 5 dogs.
Yep.
Oh, that's bless your heart.
Yep.
Pit
So
Bull Rescue Ranch. Is that right, Jake?
Yeah. I've got a pit bull ranch. Well, actually, Derby's probably a quarter pit bull. Ollie is not a pit bull, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'm glad you're doing that work. That's awesome.
Those are my kids. We can get back to the show now, though.
I think that is part of the show.
Augie came through. He's the 13-year-old German Shepherd. So that's and he was 120 pounds at the big time. So
wow.
He's half again as tall as I am when he's on all 4s. So
wow.
Just wait. Really quick, we do have a question from Nikki. I think Nikki's from Australia. Thank you for joining.
Oh, I know.
yes,
Nikki.
and
we have. I might mispronounce her name. I think it was Laval Win, something like that. Lavola. Okay, I'm sorry. I think she's from Singapore. So thank you.
I went to Singapore. It's really pretty. Clean.
Oh, cool.
I've been there twice, actually.
You have Singapore too. See, Singapore. Yeah. Yay! I enjoyed it.
She's asking, how can you tell people, how you speak to live animals on the board?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, this is like one of my most precious things. I do write about in this book. I have a whole chapter in here how I do it. But okay, so let me tell you how it happened. All right, so I was on my circa 1972 board. This was in 1994, January 26, 1994. It's always etched my mind because I was talking to my angel at the time and I was working with my partner and we were just doing the board, getting all these messages, just really cool stuff. And all of a sudden my angel came through and said, Karen, you're not going to believe who wants to talk to you. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? I talk to spirits all the time. No big deal. Bring them in. She goes, no, this is different. So I said, okay. So my hands are on the planchette. And it starts going a different direction and it goes slower. And then it spells out, Hermes, cat, I love you. Aww. So I had a big fat orange cat. His name was Hermes, very much alive, sitting in a rocking chair a few feet from me where I was at the table doing that with my partner, looking at me. And I said, wait a second, he's not dead. She's like, you can speak to animals that are alive. You can speak to people that are alive. This is a whole nother story. She goes, but you can speak to basically consciousness. You can speak to this animal that's alive. I said, what? She goes, yeah, he wanted to take this opportunity to tell you that he loves you. I said, how does this work? Does he go meow, meow, and you interpret? She goes, kind of. He actually sends a feeling, a sensation. This is how you do animal communication, you guys, without the board. You sit with an animal, you pet it, you start getting words or thoughts or feelings. That's how they communicate. So the angel was communicating on their side what my cat was trying to convey and put it into words, saying his name and just basically, I love you. I feel an affinity, affection towards you. And then she interpreted and said, this is what they said. I said, wow. And that just took me on a whole nother journey, you guys. I was thinking you can only speak to things that are deceased. I didn't think you could talk to animals at all. And in 1994, I learned differently, and I've been doing animal communication. That's why I was talking about the dragoons. I probably should explain where it started. It actually started with my cat, who was very much alive. And then when I have a story in here, other cats that were alive in here. And then I have stories when they actually transition. And I still have 2 cats that are transitioned who still talk to me, get on the board, and I channel them. You'll see them on my YouTube show sometimes. My white cat Bear over here, he's sitting in the chair over there. He talks to me a lot when I get on the board, and they will talk to me in dreams and off the board too. So once you start doing this work on the board, this is what I find. You start, again, this is about you developing your senses and abilities. You'll learn that you can start doing this work without the board. You start going, wow, I don't really need this theatrics and this tool anymore. I mean, it took me a while. It took me about 40 years before I said, okay, get off the board. But I still use the board because I love it. But yes, you can basically, what you do with your frequency, it's all about frequency. It's all about vibration. You set your intention, which changes your frequency to say, I want to communicate with my cat Hermes, who's in spirit. I want to communicate with my cat Bear, who's very much alive, sitting over here. You put the intention there. Imagine, you got to use your imagination, which allows you, it's like the fodder. It's like the area in which this work happens. That's where creativity comes from. That's where people solve problems. It's all through their imagination. People that go to sleep, solve problems. We've heard about this many times. That's where this comes from. And you get into that space because of your intentions, and you allow the connection to happen. Now, will it happen right away? I don't know. Mine happened right away. It was crazy. But I didn't get talking to the animals until I already have been talking to my higher self, then the spirit guides, or the angels, and the spirit guides. And then all of a sudden my cat started coming through. Now I can dial up and talk to all these different animals, beings, etc. If they choose to communicate back, of course, everybody has free will. Right. But that's how you do it. It works. You can do it on the board, and you can easily do it off the board. I love the way it feels when the animals come through. It's crazy. It feels so good. I thank you for asking that question. There's nothing better than feeling like I get to talk to my animal who's here, but also after he's transitioned. One of my cats transitioned, Panzer, the black cat, and this was 2018, so almost 4 years. He had transitioned, and it was it's always difficult. You guys all know. I'm preaching to the choir. So he kept telling me, I kept hearing, make a video about my death. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a macabre. He's like, I was going shopping. He kept coming to my head, go make a video. And I was like, oh God, I got to talk to people and cry and tell them about your death. He's like, just do it. I'll come through. Just do it. So I created this video, and he came back to me. And after I did this whole video, I was crying. I was like, right there. And it's very popular on YouTube, by the way. It's when, what happens to animals when they die, when they transition, I said. So check that video out, and people are still responding to it. He said to me recently, like in the last year, he said, isn't it interesting how I help people even after I died and even through my death? He goes, I helped so many people that way, didn't I? I go, you sure did. His goal, he goes, I just want to help people. And so he came through, he goes, I want to help them understand that their pets really aren't gone. We live here, we live on, and we're with them. And so I'm going to get teary-eyed here because it's very emotional when you start doing this work. You could just, I could feel him right now. He's like, God, tell my story again. That's great. I'm helping more people. That's what he's saying. It just goes on and on, you guys. It's crazy.
It does.
No, I should try that. I lost Wally in October.
Yeah.
That spurred why we got the 3 puppies. But yeah. You
should. And you guys, people go, well, I don't know how to use the Ouija board. And I say, okay, ask for them to come in your dreams. Just like people, because they will. They may come, like Panzer once came in my dreams in the very beginning. I go, I just want to see you one more time. I just want to hold you. He jumped up into my arms. I held him, and he became 2. And all of a sudden I had 2 Panthers, like, oh, this is great. Better than, and it's like, and he goes, see, I came to you in the dream. He goes, I came as 2 cats. And he says, and your friend gave you 2 cats. I said, what? One of my friends sent me black earrings of 2 little black cats. And I totally forgot because I was so distressed. And he's like, see, I came as 2 to show you that you got those 2 cat earrings because you got 2 Panthers in your ears. I thought, how cute is that? Things like that happen. So yes, ask in your dreams, Jake, if he'll come visit you, and then you can try on the board too.
Well, yeah, I've got his ashes right there. Like everything is right off screen, right over there. And
I know, I feel like that too. Everything's
yeah. So what's going to happen is I've got all of the kids, that have passed. They're all here, and so when we all go, we're going to get all burned up, and we will be. The pack will stay together. Aww. I don't know where we're going to get dumped yet, but but the pack will get dumped together.
Grow a tree.
I just mix it up, shake it up, and go.
Yep.
Woo,
I'm
woo.
just, you can put us in a big old, just put us through like the chipper and just
There you
right
go. Yep.
Probably somewhere in Washington
Never a
State,
dull
I will
moment,
say.
you guys.
I'm
Tune
telling you.
in.
That's right. And I'm going to film that for you. So,
Okay, totally. Okay. Question from the audience, though. Can an old piece of furniture, maybe purchased from an antique store, bring someone home with it? And can you pick it up through the board?
Absolutely. Listen, if there's an energy around and the energy wants to communicate, I always say energy because there's so many different levels of consciousness. Okay. It's because it could be a spirit. It could be an interdimensional, could be an animal. So I just want to call it energies. That's why I say the word energies a lot. If there's an energy around and it wants to and chooses to communicate with you, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. But if it chooses not to, it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means you're not able to make the contact. And it may come through another way. But what I find, we always want to say, all these spirits are nefarious, all these bad things happen, and they're just hanging around because bad things happen. What I find is really people, we were talking about how bad people can be. Deep inside of people, whether you're alive or deceased, transition, and even other kind of beings, there's a goodness within. There's a goodness in there. Sometimes it's hidden. But if you can tap that by you having the intentions of getting into a higher vibration, you tend to tap and meet that energy on that level. Of the level where you are. That's another reason why I won't drink and do this work, because I want to make sure I'm pure in my consciousness, my intentions of meeting them. Those are just my rules. If I ever have any rules, that'd be the big rule I have. Just because I know I'm better when I'm just more focused. I'm just better at doing this work.
Sure.
Yeah. Where's everybody going?
I don't know. I'm right here, aren't I?
Yes, you're still here.
Okay. I had to look around the screen.
I had to step away, puppy things.
Puppy things. Were they chewing your toes?
No, they were being a little rambunctious, and I didn't want the cacophony of puppy.
I don't even hear any, they're not making any sounds.
I have a very good mic that's very good at rejecting all that stuff.
Okay.
Let me tell you, it is chaos about 15 feet that way. Notice everything is
I
that
can't
away.
even hear it. It's like peaceful. I love it.
Should we do a little show and tell?
Let's do show and tell. Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some show and tell. But first, Karen, is from any of those boards there? Do you have a story? Do you got the story on your boards?
Okay, so my 72 has probably the biggest story on it, circa, and that's not in here. No, okay, so this one I just seriously got recently. I just like 2 or 3 days ago. So this is my most recent one, but it's a 1898, circa 91, 1901. So in that era it was made. It's a maple board. It's a Ouija board. This one I just like because I wanted to show it to you because I typically just bring Ouijas out, but I like it because it's different. So there's no story. I just got it and I got it off of I think it was eBay quite a few years ago, and I just thought it was unique. And I like the fact that it even came with this pendulum. And
it came with the pendulum.
It came with this nice little metal pendulum. I think it's really pretty.
It looks like a bullet, really.
And it works nicely. And I have other pendulums too. And so I just thought that would be fun to have. And I did a whole show on this on my YouTube channel where we used it as the Ouija board. And it works fabulously. The only thing I don't like about boards like this, it has a crease in the middle. And sometimes your planchette gets a little. This is one of my favorite boards. It is my oldest board. It's 1892-93 circa board. Again, they started making them in 91 in production. So this is like about a year afterwards. It's in great shape. I love the paddle. That board back there is like the 50s board. I just like it because it's one of the different style of the Ouija mystical oracle board. That's the ones I want to show you just because they show kind of different eras and stuff. But no, my boards with stories aren't here, but I will show you these. I'm into collecting these little ones.
Oh,
Okay,
cute.
so watch this. So I got this one. This is the glow in the dark one. I got this years ago, and I like it when they're unopened. Again, I'm a collector. We like things unopened. And you guys, little boards do work. I have a little miniature Ouija board somebody made me, and I put my finger on there. It actually moves, and I get my partner's finger on it. It works. These will work. I just don't use them when I want to open them. So this one glows in the dark. This is more of the traditional one.
Okay.
And then this is like one of the ones that they didn't work very good with the real ones like this. They were too heavy. This the planchette lit up and stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, so I just want to show you these. When you're a collector, you collect a little bit, kind of all things Ouija.
Yeah, I'm loving the hat. Can we get that at the store for the Talking Board Historicals?
Yeah, no, this hat now, I think I found that on could have been the Halloween store. It was maybe it was somewhere online. You could, but if you want a shirt like this, Talking Board Historical Society, we have several different kinds. This is not the only one. We have different hands. This just happens to be the Godzilla hands. We have one with the skeleton hands that glows in the dark. It's really cool. We've got pins, but just you guys, anything you donate there is a write-off because we are a 501(c)(3) and it's nonprofit, and it all goes toward, you can go on there and look and see the different things we do. We are there to preserve, honor, show, share, research everything about the Ouija and the people who used it, and we love to honor that and put it into history. So
okay, cool.
Very cool. Who else is show and tell? Is anybody else show and tell?
I mean, whoops, I was going to change my background. I mean, we did the pre one. I can do a quick run through of but that really nice one I showed last. Probably want to go into that one a little bit more. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to monopolize the time. I am not a Ouija board expert. I just like well-crafted Ouija boards.
He likes his toys.
I do.
What I wanted to say about your boards is that it was nice to see him because his boards are, even though some say Ouija on it, they really aren't Ouija, because somebody asked, has the Ouija trademark expired?
Yeah.
No, it's still it's 100% still in order. Hasbro owns it. They license it out to people like to use the name Ouija. So this is actually licensed to them. You'll see boards that have the license to use the word Ouija as a trademark. His says Ouija on it. It's a handcrafted one. Somebody just put it on there, but if they sold that, they could technically get in trouble because they're using a name they shouldn't be using. True. But
okay,
what are you gonna do?
I mean, so I'll start with the mass-produced one because I got a story behind this. So this is my Elvira board. We love Elvira.
Yes, of course.
I do a lot of Kickstarters because I like to fund. This is where a lot of independent creatives get funded for things. And I love Elvira. She had a comic book. I backed the comic book, and I got her autograph on it and sealed. I'm a comic book collector too.
Okay.
So it's sealed up, and as part of that, I got her. I love this spectral switchboard.
It's lovely.
Yes.
It's lovely. That's a great board.
Here's the planchette. Everyone can get a good giggle out of this, but I love Elvira. I'm surprised I haven't named a dog after her yet.
That's next.
I remember Elvira from the 70s. When did you remember way back? And she would host a show at night. It would be a scary show, and she would talk, and she'd lay down.
Yes.
A lot of coughing and stuff. And I go, oh, Elvira, slumber party. Girls, come over. Let's watch the scary stuff. And then we'll do Ouija board.
Yeah. I had her on Saturday. She was on with Hammer Films and everything, like right before the 50s sci-fi. Yeah, sci-fi monster flicks would come on. She was on right before. So I'm just like, I'm watching at noon.
That was in reruns.
Yeah, I
was there watching in real time, guys.
Yeah.
This was just yeah. But I would watch a lot when I go to my grandmother's in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, though.
Yes,
cool.
Yes.
Okay, next board.
Next.
You know what? I think I saw a Mary Bethune on here. She might know this company from the Port Gamble Ghost Con.
Yeah, does anybody else in the audience have these boards that he's showing right now? It's kind of cool to see. We have that Elvira one in our museum.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, thank you. My other half just brought me the one. So I got this at the Port Gamble Paranormal Conference 2017. And the gentleman who made it was also giving the EVP lessons that year, how to record and how to cut out the EVPs, make them better to hear. But he also does Ouija boards. Oh, hey, Chris. Okay, so if you know where Arn Pryor is, Chris, that's where my grandma lived. She passed away back in 2009. But yeah, it's Arn Pryor. It's probably 45 minutes from Ottawa. And Carleton is the county, but they've renamed all the counties now. But anyway, that's where my people are from originally, though. Not me. Wow. I'm an Amerikanski. So,
and that's like an old tree, gnarled tree. It's really cool.
Yeah, and this is from Wedgie Bird. And what I really like, this is nice. So it's a good wood. I'm not really sure. No, the type.
Is it maple? Am I wrong on that? You thought it was oak or maple? You said you weren't sure.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not really sure which one.
Nice
but
wood.
As I banged the mic, but what's nice is this is kind of like a laser printed, like rubber, because the planchette is an old keyhole.
That is just sweet.
It is very sweet. So you guys, you can use a lot of different things for your planchette. Think about that. You can be creative yourself.
Mhm.
I like to use old CDs. You know, who uses those anymore, right? They slide nicely.
Okay, next up. Oh, this is cool. This one I bought it from a pagan store, and it was made in the Ukraine. It is dark cherry oak. It's a classic board.
See, now this is what the example I was telling you about. They called it Ouija, but it's not. It's just a infringement upon a trademark.
Yep.
And so it's definitely solid.
Nice and thick. Very
Here
nice.
is the planchette, the little seeing. I call them the eyes, but I don't know what the proper name is. But here's the planchette, your classic heart-shaped one. Same.
It's like the indicator window. I think we call it the window, indicator window.
Okay.
Window. Yeah, there you go.
It doesn't have felt or anything on it because with the lacquer, it is very, it's easy to move the board. I mean, the planchette across it.
Right.
Yeah, but it's definitely well grooved. I mean, at the end of the day, I could tell they used like the laser thing to drill on it, because it's got some precision, but it's got all the classic Ouija things you see in the corners.
Yeah, they totally copied it greatly. I mean, look at that. The face, everything, the floating head.
So
it's a modern day Ouija for sure. The old ones, you guys notice, I'm in the way of mine. They had stars in the corner like this. They had a crescent moon up here, a full moon and a crescent moon.
Yeah. It's more like that one. Yeah, way
the one
in
back
the
there has the hands. So that's like in the 50s. They started bringing the hands in, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They keep the hands in there now.
Now this next one is something to behold. It is part of a game, just so you know, but you can use it as a Ouija board. It does not say Ouija board. I think it says spirit board or talking board.
It's a spirit board for sure.
So I'll do the actual board last, but these are the things that come with it. So first things
it's
first.
An unveiling he's doing.
I know, it's a slow reveal.
He's getting paid for this. No, just kidding.
I know, actually. So I got this on Kickstarter. It took about a year and a half for me to get this. And how it works or how it goes, let me just.
And trust me, it was well worth the wait for him. It's a really gorgeous setup.
So first things first, with the eyes or the indicators, which I'm not sure if you'll see it through here, but when you hold it up, there's actually things inside of it that it's been embossed. You might be able to see it a little bit there. You can see
something fuzzy in there. Not sure what it is. But.
So they did that laser thing to etch it in, but it's very faint. And there's some kind of work around the edges too. And I've got two of these because there's two planchettes, but they have different magnifications. Here's the other one. Like I said, probably hard to see with this setup, but similar thing. This one is a bit clearer. I'm trying to put it so you can actually
you get different images between the two of those. Okay.
So I guess it would be like if you were scrying what you could see in it. But you can kind of see you can see that there's something in it when I hold it up. I'm trying to put it.
Yeah, so it's a great springboard. You can start with that. You can scry, then you can scry with that for sure.
Now the other thing that they added is if you need help, you get these two cards of spirit mediums from the Victorian era, but I'm not really sure who the ladies are.
Is it the sisters?
It's not the Fox sisters.
Okay.
It's two ladies.
I didn't know if it was Cora Hatch or not. I don't think so. I couldn't tell. It's hard for me to tell.
I think this is from 1890. I think they said between 1890
Cora
and
Hatch was
1910.
back then.
But two ladies, like if you need to essentially invoke to get some help. Like I said, though, this is part of a game, this part. So I know the ladies' names are real. I have heard them. They were
they're real. Yeah, real spiritualists, probably.
The other thing they do is because you're talking to the dead. So sometimes you have to make a deal with Cthon, to cross the river Styx and get people out.
Oh, Karen.
So you get coins to put on the board to pay the tolls.
So they're kind of like mixing different mythologies together.
Yes,
different
very much so.
Yeah.
So I've actually seen these coins before. I think they've gone on. It's based on the coins that would go on people's eyes.
Oh, right. When they're deceased, to close their eyes, kind of thing.
Yeah. And so
that was a real thing they used to do back in the day.
Yeah. So you can put those on the boards and you'll see it. Here are the planchettes. Here's the classic planchette. So this is really nice. It's got on the back, it's
little etching laser work, it looks like.
I like this one.
I really like that skull.
Mhm.
Again, you can see the wood, and here's the back. It's etched.
You guys, I'm into collecting planchettes too. So a lot of us are. And so just not even having the board, just collecting planchettes is really cool. And Brandon Hodge will be on your show eventually. Is all about the planchettes. So, I mean, it's pretty cool.
So here is the board.
Ooh, it's very unique. Love it.
So, and then it's got the same thing that you saw in the planchettes on the
It's
back.
very beautiful.
And so it's light, but it's a pretty solid board. Anyway, this was a Kickstarter. They only made, I think there was only 180 of these actually made. 180 of these actually.
Is it numbered?
Actually,
signed?
It is. It is
and
numbered.
It's signed too, right?
Somewhere, it is not signed.
Oh,
But I got the little certificate with my number. I think I am 87 or something like that.
low number's good. That's very good to have. Like
So anyway,
by Prince.
Really nice. This doesn't slide as easily as some of the other boards, I have to say, when it comes to it. But when it gets moving, it slides. It takes a little while to get going.
Very nice.
Anyway, so this is my
See a little show and tell.
Yeah, it's called the Spiritus Colloquium, if you want to look it up. You might find it on Spiritus Colloquium.
Okay. Announcement from the chat. Chris is saying that we might have to make a stab at making a Mystic Moon Cafe board and shipping them to us. Ooh, yes.
I think you need to have a dragon on it too. Dragoon.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, that would be so much fun. And
I can almost see it like being circular too for some reason. This is when my imagination starts working. I'm going, I see it.
That's
like
my favorite. That's my favorite style from what I've been looking at and putting on my wish list.
Definitely feeling it from you. A circle. There you go.
That's my show and tell.
Ideas are made right now.
It came with other things like
yeah.
posters.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh,
And
very
the book-
neat.
The book, it's got spells in it. I did look up the spells. They did borrow real spell.
Does anybody else out there have this board? Any of you guys in the audience end up getting one of these? I didn't,
Got
but this looks
components, what they
pretty
are.
fun. It's great. You guys, there's so many boards out there. I mean, you can collect, and there's thousands and thousands of different kinds of boards out there. I mean, people just keep making new ones all the time. I'm not just talking about mass produced, but even mass produced boards, you guys, Ouija has gone through, it's like every year they have different styles, deluxe editions, smaller, larger, and that's just Ouija alone. And all the different companies that owned the Ouija trademark and patent and over the years and designed them differently. I mean, that's what makes you get into collecting. For me, you guys, I was like, you need one Ouija board. I have a great Ouija board, 1972 circa. I go, I need another board. And then I started realizing they're all so different.
Right.
What?
The artwork, how they speak to you.
Yep.
And they resonate. Yeah. The whole shebangy.
And it becomes art. Then you feel like you're collecting art. And literally, I put them up on my walls. I'm building this whole new way to show them off my office. It's going to be really cool. I'm working with the carpenter on that. But I'm stoked because it's like, then you can move them around and it's art. It's artwork, you guys. That's what it is. That's what it means to me. And then yet it also has this whole secret side to it where you can use them to talk to other energies and spirits. I just love it. Love everything about it.
Okay. I didn't see if there's any questions.
Oh, other questions? Let's see.
Like,
root canal tomorrow. No.
Ooh, yeah. Don't. Poor Jay. He's got a toothache. He's asking, what would happen if, let's say, you had wood from a house that had massive energy, and and you made it into a board? Could that energy be transferred with the wood?
Okay, so this is like the chicken or the egg, which comes first? Did the energy transfer with the board because you're open to it and you brought it to it, or is it just already existing there? I think we don't have the answer to that. I would say if the energy's there and you're willing to be open to it, will it come? Yes, because of you. Now, because of the board, not necessarily, but again, we don't fully know all the answers to all this. But I would say if you feel like you're in a space that has a lot of energy, because you can feel it. And I've been in those spaces before. There's a way to also, work with that energy. I don't want to say capture it, because you never really capture it, but connect with it. That, that would be a talisman or a reminder or representation of that energy. And because of your mind, psychokinesis or telekinesis, because you want that attachment, that's a way to bring it to you. So did the board bring it, or did you bring it?
Right.
Could be either way. Any way you want to see it. But the answer that really is this: something's happening. This is what's so amazing about this. People go, well, how do you know it's not your ideomotor, which means your fine muscle movements controlled by your subconscious brain, your mind, or something? And I say, well, does it matter? The messages I'm getting are incredible. I'm open to the fact that it could be that when I'm doing the work, because I talk to my higher self all the time. And I did a period of 4 years with some friends of mine on the board, communicating with our higher selves. And while we did that, all of a sudden we made these great connections with the part of ourself that's larger than ourself, that exists beyond our corporeal existence, the part that touches back to the divine, becomes very spiritual. You're talking to that part of you that's like all knowing. Can you imagine what you could do with that? That's like your ideomotor, if you want to call it that, whatever. But I'm saying, okay, so I did that and it worked. I'm getting great messages. And whether I think it's the spirits externally or I'm tapping into something internally, it doesn't matter. It's an all-knowing aspect. So I say, to me, it doesn't matter so much what we want to call it. It's the fact something's happening. And that is just incredible and mysterious in itself.
I'm thinking it's Dalai Lama's level soul interaction. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but I think you know where I'm trying to go with that.
I know exactly where you're trying to go. It's like you having can you imagine this, you guys? And I do this all the time. Having a conversation with your soul, your higher self, that part of you that is an extension of the divine, of source, or talking to source directly. People go, that's blasphemy. No, it's not.
No.
Yeah,
not when you're like me now. I talk to the universe all the time. I put it out to the universe, comes back to me. Yeah. It's just all a form of communication.
Absolutely. And it's you allowing yourself to expand to the belief that this can happen. And I got to tell you guys, for this to work, you really got to believe it first. Now, it doesn't mean you believe 100%. It just means you're open to believing.
Yes.
You're open to, let's just see what happens. Like I said earlier, it goes back to the whole thing of, are you willing just to go to discover and to explore and just to be open and maybe neutral, but excited and curious. But when you go, ideomotor, it's not going to work. Boom, block. It's not going to work.
Right. So, yeah. That's the energy you put into it. And
correct.
That's.
And so then this tool's not for you, because this tool does require you to really, like I said, get out of this one way of thinking that's so logical, literal, and get into this other way of thinking that's just so creative and spiral-like and expansive and beyond. I mean, it's like, going down the rabbit hole.
Right. That happens here a lot.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Talking with our guests. Yeah. Right. It's just
we're good company here. We're good company.
Exactly. Yes.
And your audience too. I mean, they're bringing up some great stuff. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, speaking of audience, let's just go to one of their questions. And this is what to do if you pick up a lower energy consciousness on the board.
Very good. So there's a thing that I call, it's kind of a phase you go through. You start working with this board, and I call it, it's like going through the dead zone. You've got to move through the dead zone. And I just call it the dead zone because it sounds so stuck, right? So when you start doing this tool, you're going to be a lot more apt, and it's going to be a lot easier to communicate with things that are more human, meaning it's probably some deceased transition person, or could be even a spirit that's like just hanging out. It could be like a ghost or some kind of energy, a poltergeist, something that's repeating itself. All those things are easier to tap into because it's humanity, it's human energy. And if it's kind of like more astral, like still around us. I'm not talking about those who are your loved ones who have transitioned and moved on, but come back and watch over you. I'm talking about those that might just have not gone. They're a little afraid. They choose not to. They're hanging out for whatever reason. Yeah, it's much easier to communicate with them in the beginning, and you will. Everybody goes, well, I can't get beyond this. This spirit that monopolizes my board. And I go, well, you got to remember now, this is your session, and you need to take control here. What I mean by that is you need to say, listen, I go, if something comes through, it's a lower energy, and you just go, it's saying the same thing over and over again. It's like boring. It's like, if you get any cussing or anything of that nature, what you need to do is say, I'm done. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. People go, well, they said this and they said this and I said this. I go, wait, why'd you go on for 30 minutes, 40 minutes with this conversation? I would have just said, stop it there, because you don't want to keep encouraging any of this negativity, whether it's coming from out of you because of your own energy, or it's coming from there. Why continue in that pattern? It's like trying to talk to a narcissist and they don't listen. And so why would you continue down that pattern? Okay. Or that behavior. So I say, why'd you talk for 40 minutes with this energy? I go, just take your board. This is what I would do. Here, I'll grab this board. I'll grab my new board. I would take a board like this. And I've done this before when I was younger. And I just go, done. I wipe it. I go like this, wipe it off, take my sleeve and go, okay, you're out of here. It was symbolic, you guys, but it was myself saying, I'm telling you right now, we're not going to have this conversation anymore. I'm done. And I would say, okay, so who else is here that can communicate? And I, I always have my guides, my bouncers around, all that stuff. But that's what you do. There's no reason to engage with anything that's like less than positive. If you are, then it's like you're encouraging that. So, so I have a video I did on, I got all these videos, you guys. I have like 240 videos on YouTube where I said it's called Working Through the Dead Zone. It's an older video, probably 5 years ago. Okay. And it talks about the exact same concept. And I also wrote an article on my website about monopolizing spirits. Similar concept, and how to work through that, how to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to work through that. It's like doing therapy. You got to learn to set boundaries. Yeah, it is. You set boundaries and you go, it's not okay. You don't talk to us like that. And I'm done. And if you don't have something new to say, I'm not going to talk to you. And then you start over again. But there's a whole process to go through. But that's such a great question. You guys are thinking like of everything that could happen. This is good.
This way, I'm dropping links to the Dead Zone here in the chat. Okay, talk.
Oh, did you find that video?
I did.
Oh, see how easy that is to find that stuff.
Oh, and he's quick on that anyway. That's his thing.
Kidding. Just look up Karen A Dahlman. Put the A in there and you'll find me on YouTube. But you beat me to it. So yeah, it's the Dead Zone one. That's a good one to watch. And then there was the article on monopolizing spirits, and I think I might have did a video on that too. I've done so many, you guys, so many videos about the Ouija board, but also interviewing other people who talk to the unseen dimensions too, or interact with this energy. Because I'm always curious how other people do it, because we all have our own way, whether it's with the Ouija board or like we were talking about earlier, cards or whatever technique we use, or just being a medium, direct channeling. I'm fascinated with how we all find our way through this, and it can be very different.
Oh yeah, whatever. Once again, we go back to whatever resonates with you, however you're just most comfortable, and you can take a lot of your practices and put them into everyday life too. If you've got that manipulative something that it's just a waste of time, you put your boundaries up and you make them firm and hold on to them.
That's exactly, you guys. What these things we're talking about here works with the living people too.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely, it does.
Okay.
I find that probably the beings I like talking to the most, I do love the guides. The guides is who I talk to all the time, you guys. These are ethereal beings of source wisdom. They are from like just a pure light energy. You can't see them. Our eyes wouldn't be able to see them. They're nothing but consciousness. They're not even a physical form, never been in a form. I love talking to them. But the beings that are closest to us that I love talking to are animals.
Oh yeah.
They're the wisdom they say to me when I talk to their oversoul or the consciousness of a species. The wisdom they have is just so incredible. It remind me, because I studied a lot with the Native American tradition when I was in New Mexico, and I actually worked on a Indian reservation. Part of my when I was working my master's degree in psychotherapy, and I was doing work there, and in prison system too, and just learning about different cultures. But I really appreciate their tradition of how it's so nature based, and they believe in all kinds of connections with different spirit beings and stuff. But I find that when the animals speak, they speak very much like a Native American elder. It's just amazing. Such great wisdom in few words. Beautiful. I mean, it just gets me every time. It's just so beautiful. It's just so deep.
Okay, so I just saw this video on your channel. And
which one? Oh God, I got so many.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to talk dogmen, because I love some dogmen.
Oh, I love
he's my favorite.
Oh, so
dude, that guest to do the dog man, he's legit, people. I checked him out. I know him. He's legit. If you haven't had him on your show, you need to have him. Have you had him? Reach out to him.
Dog man?
This guy who talked to Dog Man. On my show.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I saw that. Of course, we're big Dog Man fans. Like Linda S. Godfrey. Like, come on, Linda. We're just gonna keep quizzing you on the dog. But I saw the video, and I have to ask, Zozo, yay or nay?
So did you see my Zozo video?
I saw the thumbnail. I haven't watched it. I've got it. Like, I did the little
It's a
save
pretty
thing to
big hit,
watch.
too.
Like,
Wasn't that the demon
yeah,
something
the Ouija,
from?
yeah, Ouija demon.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So, all right. This gets into beliefs, but I do know Darren Evans. Darren Evans and I are friends. We're colleagues too. He's the one that came out with the whole Zozo thing. He did the movie Zozo from years ago.
Okay.
Rosemary Ellen Guiley, who's a really close friend of mine, who's also transitioned now. She and Darren penned the book together. They asked me my intake or information. I put some information in there that my thoughts were about Zozo. So I asked the guides, because I said, okay, guides, tell me about the Zozo thing. And so they said, you have more chances of getting in an accident back in your car out of your driveway than you do of ever meeting anything that's as negative as Zozo. They said, basically, Zozo is like, I'm going to call it this. As I told Rosemary and Darren, I said, it's an archetypal energy. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. There's so many things that exist that we don't know about, but it's like an archetypal energy, which you want to align with it. You can make anything happen when you align with positive or negative or in between. So it becomes this tale that the people are affected by it because of their belief system. So it's kind of like you can take a sugar pill to cure you, like a panacea or something that they say is going to cure you, and it's not even real medicine, but it'll work because of your belief system. So when you do this work, you guys, it does play a lot upon your belief system. So somebody can get in there and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying, I know what my experience has been. I know how to keep it for me uplifting in my life and transformative and helpful. Other people will get on this work and they'll choose to do it a little differently, and they might find more negative things. And that's because they're aligning more with that energy. So the cool thing about this, and this is what I love about being human, we do have free will and we do have a choice. And the choice, we can choose what energy we want to align with. And if we have, like I said earlier, some energy that comes through, it's not so positive, wipe it up, board off just to represent that. And then you move on. But if you keep staying there, you could create all kinds of fear, all kinds of havoc in your life. And you don't need a board to do this. You don't need a board to do this. You do this in your life anyway. By our attitudes, our perceptions, our filters, the way we view the world, this is what you get in life. So when I talk about the board, I have to talk about spirituality and the law of manifestation, or co-creation, because we're constantly choosing through our free will what we want to align with, what we don't want to align with. Through every moment, we're making a choice that takes us in different directions. And that is what we're going to intend to get in life. And I'm talking off the board, you guys, now, but that's what you'll get with the board too. So I say you don't have to encounter something like that. It's your choice again. If you choose to, it's your choice. But this is what I say. Life is hard enough as it is. We all of us know how hard it's been, even the last few years, right? Just crazy stuff. Good stuff too, but also very hard on people. And I don't want to make my life any harder. So I've learned to align with energies that are neutral, but they come through because I hit them on a higher frequency. They'll come through in a very positive light for me and for the people I do readings for, and when I help people. And that's all I care about, because that's the only reason why I'm out here talking about it, you guys. I was 40 years not in the public talking about my work on the board, although I was using it all the time. I was writing a book way back in the 90s. And I didn't even publish that book till 2012. And then I was hearing people talk negatively about the board. And I said, nah, I gotta open my mouth now. And then I did, and I started sharing. So it was because I had used the board for 40 years. It wasn't something I did overnight. It was something I had many years experiencing, and I tried everything. And like I said, every place I used it and did all the things you're not supposed to do, kind of thing. And I survived it because I decided at one point, there was a major turning point, and I won't share it. It's in this book, why I changed. And I said, I'm going to use it for one reason only. And that reason is for the good. The good of humanity, the good of myself and others. And of course I was becoming a therapist. Hello, you're supposed to be, doing that shit. But, I was going to make it align with my life. Bottom line was it can be so helpful because you are aligning your energies with that. So you start channeling that into your life, and then you get off the board and you're like, oh, I'm channeling this in my life now. Look how great things are happening. That's the beauty of this. And that's why I talk about this with people. I want people to understand that everybody can choose how they want to tap into this energy and how you want to use it.
Yeah. This is interesting. I was just watching, if you know who Dave Schrader is.
Oh, Dave and I are friends.
They just So Dave's got a new show called The Paranormal 60 on his YouTube channel. So he left Darkness Radio, and he's got it specific to YouTube now. And he had Nick Groff on, and I forgot the lady's name. And they were talking about...
Was it Elizabeth Saint? Who was it?
No, it wasn't Elizabeth Saint. I don't remember her. I had not heard of her before.
Was it from Holzer Files?
No, it wasn't like Cindy Casa.
Okay.
No. This was outside of like Dave's TV appearances. And they were talking about Ouija boards specifically because we all know Ghost Adventures.
Oh yeah.
And Nick's had some relationship with Ouija boards.
I saw him on there. I saw that whole show.
And they pretty much said, yeah, all the negative stuff's a bunch of bunk.
Ouija boards Dave actually called me during one of his shows he did on the Holzer File and said, hey, we're going to use the Ouija board in this episode. Karen, what do you think? And will this work? And he explained it to me. I said, absolutely. So he did the whole show and they did the way we talked about it.
Okay. So I watched that show religiously. I really loved it.
Holzer Files?
Yeah, and
I love that show. That was legit.
I'm like, only 2 seasons, really? And I love Cindy Casa. And just so you know, even Wendy knows this, I'm not a woo guy.
No, not at all.
At all. This is about as
show
woo as I get.
Yes, kind of surprising to me.
You are a closet woo guy. I'm just here to tell you that.
She just called you out, mister. I told him he just needed to unclench.
Unless my meter's going off, I'm not buying it. Okay.
You sure are collecting. You sure like these tools.
I do. I do.
I
do have my little dark side with that stuff. Yes, I do. But anyway, so Dave and Nick were, and it's like, yeah, Ouija boards is not, it's not a bad thing. But all the ghosty shows. Oh, we had a Ouija board. I left it in my bed.
Oh my God, did a Ouija board? That's why this person's possessed.
Oh my God, that's why Satan is in my house making me spaghetti.
Yes. Right. I tripped and smacked my face in the wall, and it was because I used a Ouija board.
I found a Ouija board in my attic. That's why my car broke down today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you guys, it's so funny. We want to use the mysterious thing. The Ouija board, you guys, when it first came out, had no directions. It had suggestions how to maybe use it. Sit across from a male, female, preferably opposite sexes. Ask questions. One person asked questions. Wipe the board off. Keep it clean. That's it. Didn't say a whole lot of anything because they kept it that way on purpose. Because then we could project all of our own fears, all of our own stuff onto the board, and the board becomes this wonderful scapegoat, and it works so well in Hollywood, and it works so well in shows. And the truth is, this is such a benign thing. I'm just here to tell you, a piece of wood.
Right?
I can talk and have these incredible communications on just a piece of paper that I draw the letters out. I don't need these things. Again, it's ourselves. I want everybody to understand this. You don't give your power over to board, but these shows do that religiously. They go, well, then you had a board in the house, and that's why you're possessed now. They don't go into the fact this person has psychological issues.
Right.
Yeah.
And I go into that because that's my background.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't have me. So I've been a ghost hunter. Well, I've recently retired the whole active ghost hunting bit, but from 2007 until the end of 2021, I was a very active ghost hunter.
Love it.
And I stopped doing private residences because no one wants to broach the fact that there's people on drugs and there's a lot of mentally ill people.
Yeah.
And I do not feel. I've had a partner when I lived in Chicago, and a guy grabbed her and assaulted her.
Oh my God.
A kooky dude. And I'm just like, I'm not. And then I did a couple of more, and it was just,
people don't realize. They watch these shows. They don't realize that's I'm going to say that's a large percentage. What you just said, that's a large percentage just from me on the outside looking in and knowing some of these people that do this work. And I'm like, you know what? You really should be qualified as a therapist walking in there. I'm just going to say it right now.
Oh yeah. Or have one with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of this stuff is just so out of control. So
and I've had people like, well, you're not counseling the ghost. I'm like, I don't even know if it's a ghost. And it has to talk to me somehow first. How
Yeah.
I can't counsel it. And for one thing, I'm just like, I don't have my master's of, social work? There's like the LLSW, I think, designation or something like that. Licensed
counselor social work, LCSW.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't have one of those. I don't think I should be telling, great grandma what.
Well, I have LPC, licensed professional counselor, but in a couple states. But the thing is, back in Oregon too, I have it. But the thing is this, it's like, that's for the living. That's not necessarily for the dead.
It's not for the dead. And the dead may not be very happy when you try to counsel.
True.
They've been off their meds a while.
Yeah. You know, they
I'm
died
so
in
glad we brought this
1870.
up because I think that's what people get really scared. So they see these things on TV and they hear it on the internet, and social media really has a way of spreading like, wildfire, these concepts. And I got to tell you again, I'm so glad I learned to use the Ouija board in the vacuum because I didn't have this coming at me. Although I was learning to be a therapist back in the 80s and late 80s and 90s and practicing for a decade back then, I was still doing the Ouija board on the side kind of thing. It's like, I'm glad I was kind of in that vacuum. So I didn't get that influence, but I got to see really mental issues. I got to see what it's really like for people to have like multiple personality disorder, schizophrenia, which is now dissociative identity disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, I worked with all these really critical disorders, narcissism, I can go on, and really seeing how these behaviors show up, and then watching these shows and hearing some of the stories. I'm like, there's a psychological issue might be possible going on there. And I know some backstories of some of these shows. And I'm going, I would have checked that first. But that's and so you hear these stories, you guys realize that's why you get a lot of this weird stuff too. It's because of the living, not because of the deceased.
Yes.
Right.
I'm far more afraid of living than dead.
I hear you.
So it's getting to that time. So Karen, we dropped the links to your website and everything.
Thank
but
you so
if
much.
someone wanted to have a session with you, how would they go about that? Do you do more than just Ouija boards? What kind of services do you offer for folks that might be listening out there?
Okay, so I used to do live Ouija sessions with people, and my partner and I, he's on the opposite side of the United States, my Ouija board partner, and so I'm over here in Arizona. He's like on the East Coast. So a lot of people know this, but so what I do now, I actually, the guides who I talk to on the board all the time in my shows, you'll see who I'm talking to. They asked me for like the last 10 years to start working off the board. And so they've been training me. They give me all kinds of lessons. My friends in spirit, Rosemary Ellen Guiley is one of them, and another friend named Cher Lynn. They've taught me how to do some readings off the board. So I'm really working off the board these days with my readings. And so what happens is go to my website. You'll see it on the side column. You'll see it at the very bottom of the page. You'll see it on the very first page, Readings with Karen. Click that link. And I have this it's been working well for people. It's just a 20-25 minute reading, reasonably priced. And I do a recording for you, send it to you. It's a cold call. It's like I'm channeling, and the guides come through me. I will tap into your spirit guides if I can. Whatever information I get, I'm scrying. Sometimes I have the board there. I don't always, usually I'm not using the board. Usually it's just me, just channeling directly. I might have the crystal ball, or I might have a card there, and then I go and I give this to you, and you can ask a couple questions of it. That's the best way to work with me right now. I do those readings all the time. Now I am also on a psychic hotline.
Miss Cleo.
I gotta know this.
that gets a little more expensive, but I'm on Everclear. You can look right
Everclear.
there. I'm on Everclear, and my name on there is Karina, because I'm supposed to be Karen on there.
Okay, just wait. I'm going to drop the link here. So I put in Everclear.
Everclear.com.
Okay.
And then you can look up the name Karina.
Okay.
So that's my secret name, you guys. That's my alter ego. So that's just to separate the work I do here from there. You're supposed to do that. But I do readings on there. I read on there all the time. I love the readings I do for people directly as Karen through my website too. So check that out. I have a bunch of books out there. You can get them on Amazon, on my website too. If you're into the Ouija board, you guys, everybody tells me this is the manual to read. This book came out 13, you guys. It's still super popular because it does help you go through all the steps of the basics of using the board. And I tell you a lot of the do's and don'ts, trials, tribulations, and my odyssey. And you can learn more about talking to angels, spirit guides, higher self, animals, deceased people. And when you get in situations, how to deal with it, how to set up the session. So this is like, I love this book. But anyway, so check that out, you guys. I'm gonna go to my website, join my newsletter. I'm speaking at a lot of public events coming up in different states. I'm supposed to be back in the UK this year if we can fly and all that good stuff. So, and then I offer seminars too. So join my newsletter, you'll know what's coming up. We just did a really cool one. I talked about connecting to your higher self on just recently. That was February 1st. But yeah, come join me. You guys are great. Audience, thank you so much for your questions, your comments. I wish I could have seen them all. And you guys, thank you.
Thank you. But I've got two more things that were asked that everyone was dying to know. The next book. And what's next for Ouija Zilla and the Historical Society.
Okay, well, the historical, so start with the Historical Society. We are right now in the planning stages for Michigan Paracon. We'll have something cool there. We always have something cool. It's different every year.
When is that one?
So that one's in the end of August.
Okay.
Up in Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh.
So you guys, it's on my website. If you go to KarenADahlman.com and look under upcoming appearances or events, you'll see that when it is. I forget the exact dates. We're booked, TBHS. I'm also booked to speak there as well. I'll be doing my own talk, but we'll also be with the Talking Board Historical Society. We have our shirts there for sale. We have boards for sale. We have a cool museum. It's going to be fun. So please check that out. That's our next big event. We're planning some other things. I'm not going to mention those at all.
Okay.
But I tell you what, you guys are going to be super happy when I tell you this one, because I've been asked about this for a long time. I can't say. And so you guys, I'm oh God, always writing this book. This book is supposed to get out a year ago, and I'm still working on it. But I'll tell you this. I moved twice in the last year, so it's kind of, I'm still getting situated. And a lot of you guys know that who follow my work. I've just moved again. So the deal is this: that book is all about communicating with consciousness and how to kind of crack the code on communicating with consciousness and how to do that on and off the board. Plus some really cool experiences I've had, and also includes extraterrestrials. So stay tuned for that board.
Okay. I'll talk to Dave Scott, Spaced Out Radio, for you.
Oh, I know Dave. Dave and we talked about aliens before. I used to do a show every Halloween. Ask him about that. Rodney and I would do the show together. We would do live readings for people on Halloween. Okay.
Just Merle, if you're still listening, let's get Karen back.
Yeah.
Well, Karen will be back on here. We'll we won't make it so long, between shows.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been 3 years, you guys. They haven't had me on for 3 years.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Blame her. I wasn't here. Blame.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You know what? There's so many cool things out there people are doing, and it's just like, gosh. I say this: if you want to get good at using any of these tools, really explore and figure out, what you like the best, what you resonate with, and just try a little bit of everything. Because you're going to go, I like that kind of, but I'm going to focus on that. Of course, I focus on the board and channeling, direct channeling.
Very, very cool. Thank you, everybody in the audience. If we didn't get your question, I apologize. We'll get it next time. Or we'll forward questions on to Karen if that's what needs to be done.
And you guys can reach me on my website, contact me, and there you can send me if you have questions or comments or anything you want to say. I answer my emails. Just give me a little time. I usually get back within a day or 2 or 3. I try to get back right away. If you want a reading, I respond within a day or 2 to the readings as well. So I'm always available. Fantastic.
And well, next week we have Brandon Weston with Ozark folk magic and healing and things. And that should be a pretty interesting one. His book is very good, anecdotal. It'll be fun. It'll be a great show as well. Not as good as this one, of course, but.
Of course. But you got to love your Appalachian. No, this is Ozarkian folk conjure type stuff.
It's a lot the same. Yeah.
I'll get schooled on that.
Well, listen, you guys, I do clogging, and clogging, they do that in the Ozarks.
Ooh.
Really? Ooh.
Grandma didn't do that, but that's good to know.
Yeah. I'm all Yankee. I'm all up north. What can I like? There was no clogging. Jag snackar lite grann norska, ja.
Whoa. Wow. So my family's from Minnesota. They talk like that. Minnesota.
I am a native of Superior, Wisconsin.
Oh, I hear it. I hear that accent.
I worked hard to obliterate that. Damn it.
Don't. It's beautiful.
Anyway, I guess it's that time. So thank you all.
Wine.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Follow us. Yep. Be with us. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.